finding the edge pieces. Anybody here jigsaw fans? Yeah, more than gardening, but not quite as many as I was hoping for, but never mind. I remember teaching my daughter, which is very young, when she went to her first kind of jigsaw puzzle, of having to work out the edge pieces and the corners, and she'd kind of go, wiggly bit, wiggly bit, wiggly bit, straight bit, and she put it in a pile. And I'm glad she worked through the entire box of pieces, so she worked out gradually how to build this puzzle. So this kind of next segment is really about finding the edge pieces. You've got all this research, all these ideas, all these needs, all these possibilities, but how do you begin to work out what you should do? So there's three things on the screen there. The first is common themes and common causes. That as you begin to do this piece of research, as you go through the different Ds, exploring what the needs are in the community, you begin to keep hearing the same things time and time and time again. And they would be the kind of common themes. We think, actually, there's something about this which seems to be a thing that keeps cropping up time and time again. The second is about corroborating themes, where perhaps you've had an instinct or an idea from the beginning, but you keep feeling it keeps being supported again and again and again. So sometimes you've got a great idea at the beginning, but having gone through this process, you keep hearing people affirming that initial idea, and it becomes a corroborating theme. And the third is the idea of curveball themes. Things that you'd never really thought about at all. We suddenly think, actually, this is a really important need that we'd never before realised. I've got a friend who runs a church locally to me, and work out the needs of their community, and they had no idea about how many people were being trafficked into the community. When they met with the police, they discovered the need to actually help kind of crack down on brothels, illegal brothels. So on a Sunday afternoon, different men from the church would get together and they would call different centres, seeing what they could get to try and help the police work out how they could make a difference there. That was a curveball theme. They didn't think, let's kind of stop human trafficking in our area. But as they liaised with the police, this became an important theme to explore and see what they could do. So there's three ideas there about finding the edge pieces. What are the common themes and causes? What are the corroborating themes? And what are the curveball themes? And how you do this is about actually having a kind of conversations, you explore, you research, and work out those kind of three things. Giving off solutions is the next part. So what do we do next as a result of this? And I think there are 5 really helpful questions. The first is, so we know what our needs are. The first question is, what is already out there? What is already happening, perhaps locally, perhaps nationally? What is already taking place that we can learn from? We recommend in the resource the Cinnamon Network, who have a whole bunch of great ideas of things you could do in the community. And if you're thinking, actually, we really want to engage with healthy living and healthy diet and food, then perhaps actually there's a resource there on the website you could link with directly called Intentional Health, it's called. So it's working at either things that already exist rather than having to start something from scratch, which you can use and utilise in your area. So what is already out there? The second one is, what do we already have? Again, it's thinking about what do you already have. You want to serve these needs. What are you already doing in the community? Back again to the assets, back again to Moses and his staff. I think time and time again in the Gospels even, we have these ideas of the guys filling up those jugs full of water and it becomes wine. There's kind of time and time again, the feeding of the 5,000, that small kind of packed lunch feeds 5,000 people. There's basically things we already have in our hands that God wants to use a natural thing to do something supernatural with. So the idea of what do we already have? Third of all, how can we empower people? Again, it's a really important idea. We're not trying to fix people, but how do we help people on their own journey to get out of the place they are and move forward? It's a really important thing to think through. So rather than just keeping people dependent upon us, how can we really encourage people to be empowered into being able to become out of poverty? The fourth thing is what scale of response is sustainable to meet the need? How much money is it going to cost? Well, how much time have we got? How much energy have we got? How long are we willing to serve in this project? On page 75 in the resource, we list lots of different ideas of things you can do. And so, for example, just give a kind of quick example. It could be that you think the need in our community right now is to work with refugees. So on one level of things, you could say what we're going to do, we're going to set up a language school, and we're going to set up a kind of cultural exchange thing, and we're going to set up a kind of food thing, and a whole bunch of projects, and get our own building and become our own charity working refugees. On the other scale of things, you could say what we're going to do is, every Sunday afternoon, we're going to invite the refugee community to come for a walk with us and just build relationships. Two different responses, but one is very, very time intense and money intense and energy intense. One is much more relational and simple to do. And it's discerning what is the best, what is sustainable for you as a church or as a church unity group as you want to serve the needs. Don't try and do too much too soon, but work out what is long-term possible. The fourth thing the final question is what ideas do we have? In the book, we talk about the idea of Walt Disney. Any Disney fans here? Yes, Disney's got the biggest kind of cheers so far. That's so not gardening, but Disney is the way forwards. They say that he was a quite interesting character in the way he did things. And he'd often have, when they were kind of creating ideas of what to try and do, they'd have 3 rooms you go in. And the first room is just kind of dream room with this kind of nice light coming through, almost like a clear sky above, and kind of blue sky thinking, let's just dream of everything that is possible. So the idea of kind of writing down lists of things that you could do in your community, what could happen, what is possible, what could we do? Nothing's off limit, pretend money is no object, let's just dream big. Then you go into the second room, and the second room is the reality room. And you work out, okay, here are some of our dreams, what would it take for us to deliver these practically? And you begin to work out, okay, how would we do this, what is possible, how can we make it work? And then the third room is the spoiler room. We think, okay, let's all be kind of negative for a minute. What could go wrong? Let's make an entire list of things that could go wrong with this. And you keep working through these rooms, the idea of kind of defining what you might do as a result. So asking the question, what ideas do we have? And actually really kind of battling them through. The next slide down is the idea of testing your dreams. That as you begin to have these ideas of what you might do to try and meet these needs in your community, it's working out actually which project or which idea is the right idea. 3 ways of doing this. First of all, the idea of presenting your dream. Actually just giving a go, actually verbally presenting the concept of the idea. It could be that you present it to your church congregation or to a leadership team and just begin to wrestle it through. It could be that you go back to the council, having interviewed them earlier on, and say, look, we've got this concept, can we pitch you the idea? And can you kind of give us some feedback on what you think about it? Or it could be that you go to the community you're serving and say, look, one way we think we could help is this. What do you guys think about it? The idea of actually just pitching and presenting your idea. The second is actually piloting your dream. It's rather than rushing in for a long-term plan and setting up a massive amount of kind of procedure and protocol, you just say, we're going to try a short-term, limited thing just to see if this thing gets traction or not. So it could be, for example, it could be kind of running an afternoon session of a parent and toddler group rather than committing to doing it for the next kind of 10 years. It could be doing something small just to see if it, as a taster, if it works. And the third thing is to practice your dream. Is the idea, is there somewhere you can volunteer and just experience and begin to understand, is this a good fit for what you want to do in your area? So those first 5 things are the 5 helpful questions. Those second 3 are the 3 helpful things going forwards.